Chapter 410. Entering the Forbidden Land 2. What divine ability is this? The blood-sunk king, who rushed over, was filled with shock. The scene in front of him was terrifying. The incomparably huge violet, golden palm seemed to break space and time, destroying the heavens and destroying the earth as it suppressed down towards him. The entire sky was dark. Everything was covered by the purple gold palm, truly covering the sky with one hand. Lamentable old me has 1,000 years of the reverse heavenly cauldron, but I don't know that there is such a divine ability hidden in the cauldron. If there was this divine ability back then, old me would have successfully passed the immortalization robbery. Kang Chia sighed. His palm flipped, like overturning clouds and rain. A huge purple gold palm, fiercely pressed down, carrying an unrivaled might, causing a large portion of the surrounding space to shatter open. The blood-sunk king immediately retreated in shock, and the killing arcana and soul arcana struck out at the same time, striking out to unrivaled attacks that crashed towards the suppressing purple gold palm. The three terrifying forces instantly exploded in midair with a deafening ringing sound that shook the heavens and moved the earth. The entire world seemed to be destroyed. Such a huge explosion ended up involving the blood-sunk king and Kang Chia as well, and that huge purple gold palm, which ended up with only a small half of it left, but it also sent the terrified blood-sunk king flying out, crashing through countless spaces along the way until it slapped him outside the nine heavens mirage realm. As for Kang Chia, he didn't fare well either. His body couldn't withstand such a massive force, and when he executed the heaven escaping hand, he had already begun to crumble, with some of his flesh and blood bursting open, revealing white bones, and his injuries were grievous. He was then hit hard by the aftermath of the big explosion, a powerful force that sent him flying out, crashing into the central vortex of the nine heavens mirage realm at once, completely disappearing. Kang Chia ... Outside the nine heavens illusion realm, the roar of the blood-sunk king was heard. He came like a hurricane impact, but only to see that Kang Chia had already fallen into the nine heavens illusion realm. Damnable. Count yourself lucky this time. The blood-sunk king glanced hatefully at the huge vortex, but in the end, he was still a little scornful and didn't rush in. This time, he had lost a great deal of face, not even killing a small fellow at the god-dividing stage, which made him very angry. Rumble. Under his annoyance, the blood-sunk king waved his big hand, and countless spaces around him were destroyed. Afterwards, the blood-sunk king let out a furious roar and rose up into the sky, disappearing into the void. The entire nine heavens mirage realm suddenly fell into calm. Thousand Blade Valley. Little Gold and Brahma Heart were contacting Kang Chia through the communication jade slip. Now that 3 months had passed, it was thought that Kang Chia should have passed the heavenly tribulation. However, what made the two anxious was that Kang Chia's communication jade slip did not have the slightest movement, and even the message could not be transmitted. Could Kang Chia still be in the nine heavens mirage realm, where the space is chaotic and the communication jade slip can't be used? Qian San Xiao, who was on the side, said, as one of the three forbidden places, the nine heavens illusion realm was the same as the 18 layers of hell, and the true dragon graveyard, in that it was impossible to transmit messages through the communication jade slips. Impossible. Brother wants to get rid of those 6 old guys. It's absolutely impossible to stay in the nine heavens illusion realm. Little Gold shook his head, his face full of anxiety. All right, it's useless for you to be anxious, seeing this. Brahma Heart comforted Little Gold and said, isn't Kang Chia's soul jade slip all right? It means he's still alive. So there's no need to worrying with his cultivation, unless it's a merged stage seal emperor powerhouse that makes a move. No one will be able to do anything about him at this orthodox demon battlefield. Zijin was much more relieved when he heard this. Several of them had each other's soul jade slips, so if anything happened to anyone, each other would be the first to know. Now, Kang Chia's soul jade slip was still fine, which meant that Kang Xiao was unharmed. Several people then discussed for a moment and decided that it would be better to wait for Kang Xiao with peace of mind. While searching for Kang Xiao's traces through the disciples of the Heavenly Dao sect, Brahma Heart was fortunate enough to step into the Great Silence realm this time, and his strength had risen very quickly, so he decided to return to the 10,000 Buddha sect for a period of time in seclusion, waiting to break into the 18 layers of hell when he was released from seclusion. Chen Sanxiao still went back to the Great Tang country, preparing to use an excuse to hide this matter from Wang Tiexiong. Anyway, cultivators who had been in seclusion for several decades were not a big deal. Wang Tiexiong would not suspect anything. Zijin, on the other hand, returned to Dark Gold Peak and cultivated while waiting for Kang Xiao. Regarding the fall of Elder Skywalker and the passage of the Immortal Mansion contest, the senior management of the Heavenly Dao sect had received the news from the 100 Flowers sect and the 10,000 Buddhist sect. The Bloodsent King had dared to openly kill the Heavenly Dao sect's elder. The Heavenly Dao sect naturally wouldn't let him go, and the Patriarch personally issued a wanted notice to search for the Bloodsent King throughout the entire Floodwasteland continent. But all the strongest members of the righteous Dao who had killed this person would be able to receive a huge reward from the Heavenly Dao sect. Subsequently, the Heavenly Dao sect even sent Thunder King Lei Baoshan to pursue the whereabouts of the Bloodsent King. Following the Blood Sword King, Thunder King also broke through the harmonization stage, with a body strength disdainful of the Blood Sword King, and he has now become the Vice Patriarch of the Heavenly Dao sect, with a status that is only second to that of the 4 major elders, such as the War Elder, the Law Enforcement Elder, and so on. Of course, this Immortal Mansion fight is all something that belongs between the top levels of the cultivation world, and the lower level cultivators below clear it all, so the cultivation world is still calm on the surface. However, some of the strongest people were clear that underneath this calmness, there was a raging undercurrent that was rushing. Although several years had passed since the fall of the Bloodsword King, the impact it had brought about had not diminished. Not long after the Bloodblade King's fall, the Dark Gold Peak Law Enforcement lineage sent a strong person to the True Dragon Graveyard, preparing to inform the Law Enforcement Elder of this matter. Everyone knew that once the Law Enforcement Elder knew about this matter, the entire cultivation world would no longer be calm. The Devil Sect summoned their disciples and prepared for battle. They seemed to have anticipated that the next great battle between the righteous and the devils was about to begin. Meanwhile, in the Fengdu mountain range of the Great Tang country, a huge aura was gradually permeating the entire Great Tang country. It had been almost 60 years since the corpse-catching sect had closed their mountain gates, and everyone knew that the day of the Divine Maiden's awakening was coming. Every citizen of the Great Tang country seemed to feel a wave of oppression before the impending storm. The Heavenly Dao sect was very concerned about this matter, and as early as 10 years ago, they had already dispatched tens of thousands of strong men to guard Fengdu city. Among them, there was a powerful King Sealer at the conjunction stage, dozens of other powerful people at the conjunction stage, thousands of powerful people at the divine separation stage, and more than 10,000 disciples at the out-of-body stage and the Yuanying stage. It was precisely because of this massive force that the people of the Great Tang Kingdom did not panic. Similarly, the strange changes in Mount Fengdu. Not only was the Heavenly Dao sect very concerned about this, but the other sects in the Flood continent were also very concerned. There were often traces of demonic path powerhouses flashing in the Great Tang country, causing panic. Unknown space. Unknown Earth time. A dark, drowsy, Kang Xiao's consciousness fell into a marvelous realm. Although he could barely think, the darkness around him was incomprehensible, and he wasn't even sure if he was alive or dead. The entire world was a chaos. Kang Xiao quietly watched this dark world in silence. He didn't know what to do. Even though he could think, He couldn't perceive his body, as if his soul was plunged into hell. If this was hell, this state did not know how long it lasted. Kang Chan's consciousness was sinking in the darkness, and in a trance, he heard Emperor Don's voice, a little weak, but it came clearly. Little ... Boy, the old man spent most of his soul power ... to control your body ... to help you block that guy ... Now, your body has fallen into the 9 heavenly illusion realm ... must be ... careful ... The old man's soul power consumption is too great ... without 100 years of time to recuperate. It is impossible to recover ... the road in the future. To be ... rely on you ... to walk on your own ... Emperor Don's voice became smaller and smaller until it finally disappeared. As Emperor Don's voice disappeared, a bright light suddenly appeared in the originally dark world. This bright light, then, gradually grew larger until it tore apart the entire dark world. Boom! Endless light suddenly rushed in from the crack, shining within Kang Chan's drowsy consciousness. Subsequently, Kang Cha struggled to open his heavy eyelids, and in his violet eyes, a blurry scene was reflected, and soon, this scene began to gradually become clearer. What came into his eyes was a very spectacular waterfall, 7,000 feet wide and more than 1,000 feet high. The huge waves like a 10,000 hectares of torrent, like a Milky Way pouring down, shocking to the eyes.